Out on a day when Karnataka's politicians continue to hog the limelight with their absolutely bizarre comments on rape. We asked just what is wrong with our netas in Karnataka. Yesterday we saw Karnataka Home Minister KJ George making the comment that media was reporting on rapes because it fetched them TRPs. And today, former Deputy Chief Minister and BJP senior leader KS Ishwarappa took the debate to a new low by asking whether Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and Home Minister George will wake up only when their daughters are raped. Listen in to this absolutely ugly remark by Ishwarappa.
ಇವರು ಗೃಹ ಮಂತ್ರಿ ಆಗಿರೋಕ್ಕೆ ಯೋಗ್ಯರ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನೀನು ಮಗಳು ಅಮ್ಮನ ಮೇಲೆ ಅತ್ಯಾಚಾರ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇರ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ನೀನು ಅಂತ.
Joining me from Bangalore are my colleagues Rohini Swamy and Pratibha Raman. Rohini Swamy has Rajiv Gowda, Congress MP from Karnataka with her. Pratibha Raman is with political analyst Hemant Kumar. Rohini, what has been the reaction from the BJP to this absolutely ugly remark made by their former Deputy Chief Minister?
Well, Mr. Prahlad Joshi also has come down heavily on Mr. Ishwarappa and said that this kind of a comment from him was unwarranted and it is distasteful. The BJP, yes, now have find it that they have found themselves in a position that they're not being able to come off, though it would have been a retaliation to the comment that had been made by the Home Minister, Mr. KJ George. But this kind of a slugfest they feel was not necessary at all. I'm joined by Professor Rajiv Gowda. Sir, the fact remains that first we have Mr. KJ George from the Congress making a comment saying media covers rapes only for TRPs. Then we have the former Deputy Chief Minister, Mr. Ishwarappa, now saying that if it was a family member of Mr. George who had been raped, he would know what it is. But most importantly, don't you think the government and as well as the opposition should actually concentrate on the bigger picture, the issue that society is looking towards the government for some kind of safety, regulations and security of children?
Absolutely, Rohini, you're right on the mark. The job of elected representatives.
The comments made by the former Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka shocking the people out there, because this kind of a comment, taking it at a very personal level and making those kind of very distasteful remarks against the Chief Minister and the Home Minister of Karnataka really doing no good, because as we have been reporting, parents and Bangalorean civil society in general has been pretty much shocked by the fact that the children, especially when they are in schools, they haven't been very, very safe. So in that sense, it was the job of the government and civil society in general to ensure that the children are safe. We can now go across back to Rohini Swamy, who is with Rajiv Gowda, Congress MP.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Gowda, like I was asking you, the point is that concentrate on the bigger picture. Elected representatives are there so that people can expect something in terms of safety, security of the state, not a slugfest of the sort.
Absolutely. This is taking political discourse to new lows. Mr. Ishwarappa was our Deputy Chief Minister. Talking in the language that he has used today, it is appalling and totally objectionable. It seems like the BJP is trying to make political capital out of tragedies. And that is not something that we should stand for. Essentially, the government has to step up. Has to ensure that every school has better safety measures, and those are enforced by the education authorities. We should also ensure that all of us come together to ensure that safety and security of every citizen, especially our women and girls, will be enhanced.
It's interesting. You're saying that the government themselves should pull up their socks now and see to that such kind of incidents that are being reported now, because also incidents are getting reported more often now because people are emboldened to come out because the media coverage that has been there. But at the end of the day, the law and order situation in the state is not as good, because if it was, if the policing was good enough, there would be fearful law and these violations wouldn't have happened.
I think that the kinds of incidents that you've seen are very rare, and that they are essentially the action of some perverts. It is not something that is reflective of the law and order situation across the state, but it is a good thing that these issues are being reported, that there is much more awareness, especially of child abuse, and the government and society has to come together to ensure that we can eliminate these sorts of problems, prevent them from happening in the first place, ensure the safety and security of our children, our girl children, and women folk as well.
Well, society comes together, the government comes together, the police comes together, the whole system comes together so that we fight evils in society and see to that everybody feels safe in Bangalore, because that's what we need now. Not
Right, absolutely, Rohini. In fact, Pratibha is also joining us from Bangalore. Pratibha, just give an idea about why the political debate in Karnataka and Bangalore is actually plumbing to such lows.
Well, Sudhir, if you actually look at it with people like KJ George as well as Mr. Ishwarappa, now both the political parties seem to be in the limelight for all the wrong reasons, because just 2 days ago we saw Mr. George making a very bizarre statement talking about how media is hyping up such rape cases reported on a daily basis just for TRPs, and now this comes in the wake of that statement where Ishwarappa has made this statement. And I have with me Mr. Hemant Kumar, a political analyst. Sir, what do you actually make of statements like these, because it's getting into a lot of lows with these political parties here?
I'm rather shocked because the two state leaders of national political parties are competing with each other to be in news for wrong reasons. First, it was the Home Minister's statement, Mr. J. George. His statement casting aspersion on electronic media is totally unacceptable. It is not done. And today, the leader of the BJP group leader of the opposition in Karnataka Legislative Council, K.C. Ishwarappa, has made a statement which is totally reprehensible. It is totally unacceptable in public life. This is not the way a political party leader should be speaking, and it's absolutely in bad taste. And I condemn it. This is not the way they should be speaking.
And perhaps as an afterthought, Sudhir, now Mr. Ishwarappa has made a U-turn stating that both Siddaramaia's daughter as well as KJ George's daughter are his sisters, and that this was purely a statement that was made without any kind of thought that has gone into it. Sudhir.
Right, Pratibha, just hold on. The Karnataka High Court also came down heavily on the school managements and the government of Karnataka, saying when parents come to the school, a rosy picture is presented to them and that there is no accountability. Or they also criticized the education department, saying that if they had done their job properly, these kind of issues would not have cropped up, and saying that unauthorized schools are running right under their noses. Pratibha, this has been pretty scathing in their comments. Does that make the parents and Bangaloreans in general feel a little more reassured that at least someone in authority is fighting on their behalf? Because all along over the last 4 months, we have seen that the state government and the school managements have only been passing the buck.
Well, Sudhir, till date, most parents have really met with a lot of disappointment and despair, because they have seen no kind of action whatsoever, right from the government's point of view as well as the school's management. And now, sir, do you think that the High Court has taken such a stand? Does it come as a reassuring factor to you?
Till the time it doesn't remain as a verbal reassurance, it seems good. But having said that, I think the political parties as well as the school have to take the action upon themselves, because it contains a lot of things about privacy that for the children or for what's happening in the schools. Implementation has to be done in conjunction with the parents, whatever they require. And yes, the government has to take the steps instead of making statements in the media and fighting over petty issues. They need to take up the steps forward, implement things, and then let's see how it takes shape in the next month or months.
Does this bring in a new hope for you, ma'am? Do you think that now that the court has taken this up really seriously, do you think the government is finally going to act?
Yes, definitely, but what result it shows, only time will tell.
And now, do you feel that the government hasn't really stood up to its stand of, giving all kinds of assurance as well as the management? Is there a sense of anxiety when you actually send your daughter to school?
Definitely, till now government is not taking the appropriate action. Hopefully in future it will implement this.
All of them are bringing in a ray of hope with this whole statement that has been, the whole observation that has been made by the High Court. All of them hoping that finally there will be some ray of light that they would see in terms of effective implementation of guidelines. Sudhir.
Right, Pratibha Raman there. Thanks a lot for joining us with all your guests there from Bangalore. News now from Andhra Pradesh, where in an unfortunate incident involving the Navy, one sailor has died involving a torpedo recovery vessel which sank yesterday evening around 7:30 p.m. off the coast of Visakhapatnam. While 23 sailors were rescued, 4 are still missing, and that includes one officer. This is the latest accident in the Indian Navy, which raises concerns about the Asian powers' aging fleet. The Navy cites flooding in the engine room of the vessel as the reason, which they say probably caused the failure of the seals from where the shafts protrude out of the ship. Joining me for a perspective is my colleague Shiv Arur from New Delhi. Pardon me. Shiv, the Navy chief is most likely to visit Visakhapatnam pretty soon, but has this accident set off the alarm bells in both the Indian Navy as well as the defence establishment?
Absolutely, Sudhir. It has come as a rude shock to the Navy, which had, as you know, hoped that the spate of accidents it had experienced between last year and earlier this year, was just a bad dream, something in the past. It even led to the resignation of a sitting Navy chief, the former Navy Chief Admiral D.K. Joshi. But, this particular accident comes just barely a week after there was another incident, again off the coast of Visakhapatnam, Sudhir, and you know about that as well, in which an Indian Navy warship scraped up against a merchant vessel about 300 nautical miles. So obviously there's a problem. Accidents like this are not supposed to happen this often. This was an old ship, but definitely was, in ship shape as far as sailing was concerned. It had undergone a refit just about, 6 months ago. So there's no reason whatsoever to believe that there was anything actually wrong with the ship. So accountability will be fixed once the Board of Inquiry is complete.
Right. Quickly, Shiv, whoever is the next defence minister will have to hit the ground running. Is that your assessment?
Absolutely. I mean, in terms of safety of, of all three defence forces, but especially the Navy is going to be one of the biggest things, on top of the agenda for whoever is our next defence minister. If it's Manohar Parrikar, as the speculation seems, I'm sure that naval safety, standing down, making sure procedures are in place so that something like this never happens again is going to be very high on his agenda, Sudhir.
Right. Shiv Arur, thanks a lot for joining us with that perspective on this unfortunate incident at Visakhapatnam. You're with Up South. Kamal Haasan, the famous actor, turned 60 today, and he decided to celebrate his birthday in style by cleaning up a lake in Chennai. Remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had nominated the celebrated actor when he kicked off the campaign on the 2nd of October. And Kamal Haasan cleaned up the lake, much to the delight of his fans who had assembled there. We leave you with this interview that he gave to my colleague, Shisha Reddy.
I'm now joined by actor Kamal Haasan, who's celebrating his 60th birthday today with the Clean India campaign. So you have kick-started on your birthday. First, I would like to wish you happy birthday. And how special is it, the Clean India campaign for you?
It is very special because it's being recognized now. We've been at this kind of work for nearly 30 years with my Narpani Yankam, as we call it, a social organization. We've converted my fans to this kind of work for nearly 30 years now. They are blood donors, body part donors, eye donors, and we run ambulances all around Tamil Nadu. It's not run by me personally, but enthused fans who have been goaded into this kind of social service by me. And I'm just an instrument, and I'm happy that our services have been recognized and we have been named as one among the 9.
Will you also be nominating several other people now that Prime Minister nominated you?
These are all nominated people. Arun Krishnamurthy is one such, and we will nominate. I've got some people, I've already phoned up people in my family and said, you're nominated. It's not about 9. As I said, if I can, I'll do 9,000, 9 lakhs, 9 million.
Right. One question, sir. Do you think this Swachh Bharat has become more of a photo opportunity for a lot of people, because we have been seeing people throwing out garbage just to clean it up so that they can get a photo opportunity? Even
the throwing of garbage, a photograph, becomes a photo opportunity. I think you should all do it, because whistleblowing on all these kind of people should be done on all satellite channels. It might be like a joke in the beginning, but then they will understand that this is not a great thing to do. It's like learning to say thank you, good morning, how we teach our children to say thank you, good morning, and sorry. We have to make this into a social habit of keeping our city clean.